Now for your forecast first, WRBL News 3 First Alert Weather.
It's been all sun and a few clouds today, even up across parts of Callaway Gardens, Robin Lake Beach, and that evening forecast, we're looking at temperatures falling into the 70s by 10 and 11. A few of us may see some showers on the Alabama side as we're tracking an area of energy pushing in, but overall, we'll talk about the weekend, staying unsettled. You're watching WRBL News 3 on your side.
Straight ahead, a Columbus teenager pleaded guilty this morning to killing a man who was living with his mother. We'll take you inside the hearing. Next, in an effort to help with food insecurity in their community, one local elementary school takes a student-led approach. We'll show you the new Mountain Hill Elementary School garden. Plus, the Alabama Suicide Hotline has seen an influx in calls in the last year, but they're saying they don't have the staff or funding to keep up. We'll have the details as News 3 at 6 starts right now.
On your side, this is News 3 at 6.
Good evening and thank you for trusting WRBL News 3. I'm Hannah James in for Teresa Whitaker and Phil Scoggins. Leading us off this evening, a Columbus teenager was facing life in prison in the 2022 shooting death of the man who was living with his mother. However, he pleaded guilty to lesser charges this morning. 17-year-old Dequavius Deshaun Anthony was sentenced to 26 years in prison for killing 44-year-old Jerry Watson Jr. in August of last year. Anthony was facing a felony murder charge, but a plea deal reduced that to voluntary manslaughter and a 20-year sentence. He also had 6 additional years on gun charges. Watson and Anthony had been in a dispute, and Watson was leaving the Village Square Apartments on Boxwood Boulevard when he was shot in the head. The truck Watson was driving hit an apartment building and burst into flames. District Attorney Stacey Jackson handled the prosecution. Anthony was the 4th teenager facing murder charges this week to appear in front of Superior Court Judge John Martin for sentencing. In each case, Martin accepted the plea deal to lesser charges arranged by attorneys. Here's what he had to say from the bench today.
This again goes to things that we see in this community almost every week, every weekend, and that we dealt with again yesterday. Is the use of handguns is not a way to resolve any dispute, or that regardless of what may have happened prior to that between you and this gentleman and your mother or anybody, if he was leaving in the truck, had you simply let him leave, we wouldn't be here.
Though Anthony was 16 at the time of the shooting, Georgia law allows him to be tried as an adult. Judge Martin said the voluntary manslaughter plea was an appropriate outcome. Meanwhile, the Muskogee County Coroner's Office has released the identity of a person who was shot and killed last night in Columbus. Coroner Buddy Bryan identified the victim as 22-year-old Dion Wade. He was pronounced dead at the scene on Wedgefield Court near Rice Street shortly before 10 last night in the Oakland Park neighborhood. His body will be sent for an autopsy. Now, this is an ongoing investigation. Stay with WRBL on air and online as we work to gather more details. Switching gears to weather now, storms have been covering our viewing area over the past week. Meteorologist Cody Nickel joining us now. Cody, will we see a break from the rain this weekend?
Unfortunately, Hannah, we're not going to see a break from the rain, and we may actually have a break for this evening, but we are watching this system as it pushes into parts of West Alabama. It may brush some of our counties in Alabama as we head overnight, and you can see that severe thunderstorm watch for this system as it kind of may drop more southward here, but it could hit some of our Alabama counties as we get towards around midnight. But we just had one little shower pop up near Fort Moore. It's kind of vanished for the moment, and then as we go throughout the weekend. Saturday is going to be another day of some showers and storms, unfortunately, but we're weather aware as we head into Sunday. We're tracking 2 rounds of showers and storms, one in the late morning hours, right just before midday, pushing into parts of our area, and then as we get towards really late Sunday, Monday, we're tracking another system. Both of these could have the potential for damaging wind gusts, and both of these are dependent upon what the other one does. So if we have more in the morning, we may have less at night, and vice versa, but we'll have more details and break it down coming up. Hannah?
All right, thank you, Cody. As there's a break right now, there's a break in the rain this morning as the popular restaurant chain Tim Hortons opened their doors in the Fountain City today. Cars were seen lined up outside of Veterans Parkway location for their ribbon cutting ceremony. The Columbus Chamber of Commerce was in attendance. There was also a giveaway to the first 50 cars who ordered through the drive-thru this morning, as well as free samples and games.
I've been talking to guests all day in the drive-thru, in the line, waiting to come inside, and they're excited for so many reasons. You've got a lot of people who know the brand, either from the states up north in the U.S. We've got a bunch of people who used to live in Buffalo, used to live in Rochester, or even who used to be in Canada. So we've got kind of northern U.S. Original residents, we've got Canadians, all who are now people in Columbus.
This Tim Hortons location is the first one to open in Georgia. A Tim Hortons location is expected to open in Atlanta over the next few months. Well, this year, one Harris County school has been working towards their STEAM recertification while using science, technology, engineering, art, and math. This year's focus was on empathy. I spoke with New Mountain Hill Elementary's assistant principal to find out how all the components came together.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
This past school year, New Mountain Hill Elementary School, in partnership with Harris County High School, the FFA, and the Hope Center, donated their first harvest to the Fellowship of Christians United in Service Food Pantry.
We are collectively working with FFA and the Harris County Hope Center to feed individuals in our community with food insecurities. So far, we've donated 400 bags of produce, and we've also donated our sweet little muscadine jellies to our Harris County Hope Center.
This harvest came about during their STEAM recertification process. Every classroom was responsible for overseeing their own garden, but it wasn't just about the technical skills.
Through this process, there was an added empathy piece, and we decided to move from recreational gardening to full-on food production to teach the children about empathy and as far as a community problem.
Former fourth grader S.J. Key in his classroom got to work this year overseeing carrots, radishes, and potatoes. However, the takeaway for him went beyond planting seeds.
You get to help people. Like, you don't have to know them. You don't have to know their faces. You don't know how they look like. I mean, I just like helping them, like giving them the food and the happiness and the joy they want. I'll always do that for people.
During the school year, they had 2 harvests in November and May. However, if they were able to continue growing during the summer, they would be able to double their production with 2 additional harvests in March and at the end of the summer.
During the year, the kids usually water like the plants every day. But since like the kids are not here during the summer, we need like some way how to water them.
Without an irrigation system, they're now turning to the community for support.
There's someone in our community that would like to donate their services. We have probably companies all over that do irrigation systems, and I know it can be expensive, but this is all a part of the STEAM process.
A process that is working towards teaching students to be good stewards in servicing their community.
Now, if New Mountain Hill Elementary were to get their irrigation system, they would also look into creating a plant parents program where parents or members of the community could sign up to help manage the gardens during the summer. The elementary school got their STEAM recertification in March of this year. They were the first school in the county to do so, as the certification lasts 5 years. To Consumer News now, new numbers show the cost of many goods are going up, which means you may be paying more for certain items at the grocery store compared to this time last year. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics report says meat and egg prices went down, but the cost of sugar, cocoa, flour, rice, spaghetti, bread, and chocolate chip cookies are higher. Analysts say factors range from a combination of supply and demand issues plus weather-related produce problems. Georgia peach lovers will pay more for peaches this year due to bad weather, which damaged the crops. One of the biggest increases seen from last year, about 11%, is cereal, baked goods, and non-alcohol beverages. But the good news, analysts say energy prices are down about 2%, which means you are paying less for electricity and natural gas. Well, as News 3 at 6 continues, we want to thank you again for trusting WRBL News 3. Check back in with Cody now. While it's clear outside now, will that be the case for the rest of this week?
Well, the rest of the week, we're going to be talking about some more showers, but it's really the heat is back and also the humidity. Look at the dew point. We're at 70 degrees right now. We'll track those rain chances that we're tracking for Father's Day weekend coming up.